This week we're going to be talking about good judgment. What is it and how can you develop it? You can always look up on Google or in the dictionary what the definition of good judgment is. And basically, good judgment is taking into consideration all the consequences or ramifications of a decision you'll make, or really thinking about your actions or what you'll say before you make those actions or you say those things. That's what good judgment is. So right now, let's look at some ways that we can develop our ability to have good judgment. This information is taken from the Harvard Business Journal. So one of the first things that they recommend is that you become, or we become, a good listener and that we read. So whenever there's a subject or a decision that needs to be made, we want to get more information about that subject. Listen to people's advice. Read up about it before you make a decision. And here's an interesting point they make. When you listen to people, listen not only to what they're saying, but to what they're not saying. In other words, you might have already made up your mind as to what you think you should do, and you have maybe 2 or 3 reasons why you think, valid reasons why you think this is a good decision. And then when you ask someone else, they say, yeah, here's the reasons I would do it, and they mention their reasons, but maybe one of the reasons they mentioned is not one of the reasons that you had in mind. So then you can talk to them and ask them and say, here's something I was thinking that was a positive. You didn't mention that. Is there a reason why? So again, one of the key points that they make is listen for what is not said. You can learn a lot from that. The other key is to, when you're listening, don't listen for validation. So many times when we make a decision, we always have a way that we're leaning. We have an idea of the way we want to go. But when you're listening to other people's suggestions or their thoughts or their input, don't look for validation. Don't just listen for the things that validate or agree with your viewpoint. Pay particular attention to ideas or opinions or comments that are contrary to the decision you're wanting to make. And really try to understand what it is, why it is that they're saying these things that are contradictory to what you might want to do. So again, if you want to improve your ability to make good judgment calls, sometimes we call them gut instinct calls, you got to give your gut something to work on. So before you make a decision, read up on it, do some research on it, ask people about it, listen for what people don't say, and don't look for validation. Embrace different ideas so that you can test your logic. Here's your metacognitive exercise for this week. Try to think about the last time you made a pretty good-sized decision and then you regretted it. Did you go through the process? Think about that time you regretted a decision you made. Maybe it was something you said or something you did. Did you do research before you made the decision? Did you think things through? Did you think about consequences? Did you ask other people for their input? So many times in business, we have to make decisions without having all the facts. We have to make decisions not knowing exactly for sure what the consequences will be. So individuals who develop good judgment are highly valued in the workplace and in life. So hopefully these few tips from the Harvard Business Journal make sense, and hopefully you can use them. We'll see you next time.